Alright guys, so coming at you with another Hemi video. I'm bored, I've got nothing to do, so we might as well work on this a little bit. I've also got a new audio solution, so we're going to see how that works out. Hopefully it's a little better. I really don't know what to expect. So, my plan for today, though, for this video, I want to get the bottom end, oil pan off, and get the rest of this front end off. Maybe pull the crank and pistons. Not 100% sure on that just yet. But I do want to make it to where I can flip this motor over and not have to worry about spilling oil everywhere. And I would like to clean up a lot of the dust and debris that's starting to collect on it. Maybe pull the cam and things out. Throw all that stuff in the garbage. Get some space. So, let's get to it. Welcome to the Skinny Pedal YouTube channel. Now let's get to it. Okay, so first up, we're going to work on pulling all of this off. From the way that my father talks about it, I could probably throw pretty much everything here in the garbage once it comes off, but I'm going to hold on to it just in case, because he's talking new everything, new water pump, new tensioner, new AC, but this one's bad anyways. Everything he wants new, so it's very possible that it doesn't matter if I keep track of it or not, but I'm still going to try to keep it organized. And I'd like to point out, these are brand new snap-ons I literally got yesterday. Donated graciously, however you say that word, by my father for doing this. I mean, they're brand new. Oh, crap. Okay. I think that's all the bolts that hold this on. I'm not sure if that does or not. I might get a wrench on that and just see what they do. Yeah, I think that bolt holds it. Worked good enough. Woo, coolant. All right, well, got our thermostat hiding in there. I'm gonna have to keep track of it for that too. Oh man, I got coolant in my toolbox. And that doesn't have what it takes. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. I know. Oh, crap. Wow, that is on there. Okay, that's moving now. said aluminum, I think. I don't know. Look at that crusty thing. So now I gotta get this harmonic balancer off, which I'm hoping my 3-jaw puller will be able to pull it, but I'm nervous. That worked really good. All right. That ain't right. Okay. So, the only way I could grab it is on the outside of the balancer like this, and it's pulling the rubber from the harmonic balancer out from the inside. There we go. So I didn't break it after all. I just pulled on it and it went back. Crap. All right, I do believe that's everything that holds this cover on. I might be wrong. Oh, 2 more. Okay, I think at this point it's just glued. It's glued real good from being on there for a very long time. Ooh, I didn't know about that. So that's cool. It uses a O-ring style gasket, and it's all one piece down into the pan. I'll say that's actually a very pretty looking oil pan. I had to pull my Hemi hardware box down so that I have somewhere to put all of this. Oh boy. Man, I really like this pan. It's thick, it's got a good shape to it, it's got a little bit of cooling ribs in the bottom there, which are probably doubling its strength. The only thing it doesn't have is a little tray down here, which it looks like the stud, you know, the casting's designed to where it could be drilled and tapped for a tray, but it doesn't have one. But also, just take a look at this in general. Like, that's pretty. There's no garbage in here other than the stuff I've dropped into it since opening the motor. It's actually really nice. And then that's a really big pickup tube. Like, you know, that's what, inch diameter pipe or something? Like, that's substantial. That can move a lot of oil. I don't know if you'd ever want to move that much oil at one time, because then you might end up running your pan empty, but it's cool to see that. You know, this is all new to me because I've never been inside of a Hemi motor. Looks like I gotta pull the oil pan thing off to get this windage tray, which also doubles as the gasket. I did not know that. That's cool. I hope that's not too expensive to buy new. I mean, it's not my problem either way, but I bet you that cost a pretty penny to buy. It's another thing, that oil pump's probably going to be going in the garbage too, but don't want to lose parts if you don't have to. Wow, that's on there. Like I said earlier, I bet you that's a really expensive gasket, considering it's got all of that going on. But at the same time, you're getting two gaskets in one, because it also does the front cover and the rear cover. So you're getting three gaskets in one. So that's pretty interesting. But oh dear Lord, if you'd ever have to deal with this in the car, you pretty much got to pull the whole motor, because you're not getting that rear cover off. So here's another problem I've been waiting to deal with. This dipstick tube is really stuck in there. So I'm hoping I can fit a socket in there that's the perfect size and tap it out like that, because I don't want to break the tube pulling on it. It's probably the wrong tube for the Magnum, so in that instance, it doesn't matter if I break it, but I'm going to keep it around just in case I need it, or in case it's needed in general. But it definitely won't be going back on this block. Not, at least I'm not installing it. There you go. Where'd my little hammer go? I don't know if that's working. I'm gonna have to switch up for a harder hitter. Oh my goodness. It's still fighting. Oy. Now I bet you Dodge and Chevy guys will probably hate this statement, but I find this Hemi to be remarkably similar to an LS motor. I mean, obviously there's its Dodge twist on it. Everything's a little different, but the big picture of how everything assembles, the parts they use, how many bolts, and it all really feels almost identical to an LS motor. It's, I guess the best way to put it is like you had two people designing the same motor, and this is their individual ideas as to how to do it. That's what this feels like to me. Geez, that was weird. I must have just been barely exposed to the environment because there's a lot of garbage sitting right there. As for putting these bolts back in this motor when it's time to reassemble, I'm just going to have to guess because I haven't been paying attention to what I've been doing. That's why I have video. I can go back and check it. This is the way that makes the most sense to me. We're running out of air pressure, it sounds like. Look at that, there's like a shim thing. Oh, bummer. Wow, that is crazy. I watched a video on how these things wear, and man, it is. Let me grab a towel. So you can see on this thing, got a real shiny spot through here, and then get a little down here on this edge. And then the front, from here, the edge of the roller, all the way around, there's a little spot that isn't, and then all the way around to here, to this far edge, is all got a little bit of a polish on it from wear marks. Which that's interesting because that means that these lifters installed like this, they're under a little bit of like a torque, I guess. They're not running straight up and down like this easy going. They're running with a slight taper. I don't know what would cause it. That's weird. But I did watch a video on these lifters and a theory as to why they do what they do, because apparently these Hemi motors, they're notorious for having the camshafts wear out prematurely. And the theory that the guy had about why it is that there is no good oiling for the camshaft, because on a more traditional V8 like an LS motor, small block Chevy, you know, stuff that I'm readily familiar with, the lifters sit up like this. And because of that, when the oil drips off of them, it will lubricate the cam. Well, these being laid down on their side like this, when the oil drips down, it falls straight down into the oil pan. And then another problem is that there's a casting that runs through the middle of this block that is the main oil galley. It blocks a lot of the sling from the crankshaft from getting up to the camshaft. So it makes it to where the oil on the cam, you really only get good amounts of oil when you're running a little higher RPM. At idle, it's starved for oil, which kind of looks like that might be the case. Much tighter than I was expecting. Okay. So since that didn't work, we're just gonna have to surprise it. So I always like to use the camshaft gear as a means, as a tool for holding. We're going fast. Whee! That's fun. I'm sorry for that screwiness. I always like to use the cam gear as my handle to help kind of guide it out so that I don't hit everything with the cam on the way out. I mean, we're getting new bearings anyway, so it's not like it's that big of a deal, but still, you want to be mindful. Wow, look at how much smaller that rear bearing is than the fronts. They really took advantage of that. Look at that wear on the cam. These cams, they wear out. There is so much damage on this cam. I mean, it's nowhere near bad enough to be like a problem yet, but this is more wear than I've ever seen on a camshaft. Even ones that have been in, you know, ancient, old motors. That's crazy. Boy. This is what the rear cover bolts look like. And just like that, I can put it back on the engine stand. All right. What a pretty rotating assembly. So, I think first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark all the caps with what number they are coming out of the motor. And then I will go from there. That rod just kind of came apart. It's crazy how that just happened. They usually don't do that. Usually you gotta fight them a little bit. Not only that, the piston just fell a little. Ugh. That's a bad bearing. Look at how I can feel the gouging in that. This Obviously the motor still ran, but I'm not going to say that it was in the best condition possible. Oh boy. Okay. What am I going to poke in there with? Knew it. Drop the piston right on the ground. The wear pad is, it's not all the way through, so it's not bad yet, but it's definitely real close. Everything moves nicely though. These look like some really strong rods. Now let's just get this crankshaft out. Which, by the way, spins really nice. I can't feel any end play in it, which means the thrust bearing, wherever it's at, I think it's on this one, still nice and tight. Apparently I need to pin that. That's not good. That's not good. You didn't see that. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to cut this off and attack it with a socket. Running out of air, give me a second. And just like an LS motor, these have side, whatever you call those, side bolts. That's the trick I've learned for pulling out these bearing cap, these main caps. You pull the bolts up to where the threads are just on the top edge of the hole, like so, and it gives them a good bite. Then you use them like a handle because you push them together, like if you're trying to squeeze a pair of pliers, and it gives you a good handle where you can pull up and wiggle them at the same time.
It works really good all the way up until you get to the one with the thrust bearing. That one doesn't wiggle as much. Which, speaking of bearings, let's take a look at these. This one's got a big old thing in it, but it's like that first layer of coating is going away, but they're all still good. Or, I wouldn't reuse them, but it's not like it's not like there was a worry that this motor was going to be bad anytime soon. Alright, there we go. Whew, crankshafts are heavy. This is a really nice looking crank. I'm wondering if it's a forged piece, because the machining is pretty much everywhere on it. I'm gonna have to look into that, because if that is a forged piece, it might be worth keeping around for in case and that's all there is for thrust bearings. Those cute little things. It's adorable. If it's a forged piece, it might be worth keeping around. Oh boy, I see it now. So remember when we were talking about the camshaft having oiling issues? Well, that's why, right there. You see that? These squirters that are on here are aimed up into the pistons, and that's so that the wrist pin gets properly lubricated, and then the bore of the wall gets good lubrication so that you don't score up your pistons, your cylinders. But what you don't have is anything pointed at the camshaft. And you, like I was saying earlier, usually the rotation of the crank will sling oil off into the camshaft. And if you look at this casting, the amount of room between here and there for oil to get to the camshaft is next to none, really. There's, you got about a ½ inch on this side and about a ½ inch on that side, and then it cuts down for that bolt hole. So really, you've got like a ¼ inch and then a ½ inch. There's not enough room for oil to get past this thing. And the oil that does get past it has to go at an angle, so it's not really hitting the cam anyways. So it relies heavily on whatever's coming out of the lifters to lubricate the camshaft, and then the lifters aren't even lined up with it. So that guy's video on why he thinks that these are bad, or at least oiling wise, it makes complete sense to me. I agree with his that might be a bad idea. Yep, that's what I thought. I knew it was a bad idea. I did it anyways. So can we all overlook how I just did something really stupid? Alright, let's get back on with progress here. We're going to pull these little squirters out, just because they're not going to want them in there for the machining process. I'm going to give it the old college try, and if it looks like I'm doing more damage than good, I'll stop. Well, I guess I'm going to stop and Google how this works. Okay, cool. So now that I know what they are, I know that I can break them. because we're going to replace these with probably billet ones in the future. Oh my goodness, those are in there though. These are the block-off plates that do the multi-cylinder turn-on-off thing, whatever you call that. Variable displacement, something or another. Every company's got their own name for it. Chevy calls it displacement on demand. So I'm gonna see what I can do about getting these out, which doesn't look like it's going so good so far. I'll probably have to drill them and then pull them with a bolt or something, because this is not going well. Okay, I was going to start working on cleaning it, but that's not going as easily as I thought it would, so I think I'm going to pass on that. Alright, so that's all I got for this video. That's all I planned on doing, so thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz that everybody tells you to do. And come back next week and
see what we're playing with then. Because honestly, I don't know. I come up with this stuff as I go. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you later.